A couple of years ago, my wife and I, while we were traveling, discovered one of the best little quiet hot spots on the Mississippi Gulf Coast that we've ever seen. It's got great restaurants, great places to sit out on the beach and have a drink, good lodging, beautiful main street with lots of art shops, and some fantastic inshore and nearshore saltwater fishing. We revisit that place on this week's show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Glad you're here because Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hi everyone, as you can see, we're going saltwater fishing on this week's episode. This sport is really growing on me the more I learn about it and the more I get to fish out of the Mako 21 LTS. It is an unbelievable inshore and nearshore fishing machine, and we're going nearshore today on some artificial reefs. Now I'd like to bring you to one of my favorite coastal hotspots. This is Bay St. Louis. It's located a little west of Biloxi, Mississippi, right in the middle of the Gulf Coast. It is a quiet little town with great restaurants, great beaches, great lodging, and some of the best fishing the Gulf Coast has to offer. We're going to talk more about that while we're out fishing today, hopefully for some big speckled trout, taking you around your local region for your local fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters. Right now, the Mako 21 LTS goes near shore, and we get you started at the FSN studios with your weekend planner.
It looks like this weekend will be a great time to be on the water with excellent game fish activity forecast for both days. Top evening hours are forecast to start around midnight, and the peak daytime activity is slated to begin at 11:41 a.m. on Saturday and 12:39 p.m. on Sunday. Look for the sun to rise at 6:53 and set at 8:07. And evenings will be dark with a new moon on Monday. Stay with us for freshwater and coastal fishing information from around the region. Plus, I'll return with Mr. Crappie Wally Marshall for this week's Ask the Pro question. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lew's, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
He's got it. Goodness, that's a trout too. This is my first cast. Wow, would you believe this? I've made one cast out there and I've already got one real nervous on my croaker. Welcome back everybody. He's got it. Goodness, that's a trout too. This is my first cast. All right, come in here, buddy. Nice fat one too. Got my Kale hook. And he's got it real good right in the corner of the mouth. There we go. Just one single hook, free floating a croaker out there, and I've got my first trout of the morning. All right, that'd be a good solid keeper if we were keeping them, which we're not. Back he goes. Thank you, buddy. Here's the cool thing about Bay St. Louis. Scattered all up and down the coastline here, the Conservation Department has put out these big concrete reefs. And this is the old concrete that's the remnants of Hurricane Katrina. It knocked down a bunch of bridges and concrete structures, and rather than just trash that stuff in a landfill somewhere, they drug it all out here on barges and made these artificial reefs. They're in about 8 feet of water, which is prime for a lot of these game fish. So we're sitting in 8 feet, casting right up on that concrete, and very first cast of the morning with my spinning rig right there, casted it up there and caught a nice trout. Off to a good start here. We'll fish some more reefs, see what else is going on out here today. Bay St. Louis fishing for you. Time for fishing reports for you.
Hey guys, this week's Tennessee and Kentucky Fishing Report is brought to you by Orion Coolers. If you're looking for the last cooler you'll ever need to buy, check out orioncoolers.com. They have sizes ranging from 25 to 85 quarts, more options and standard features than any cooler on the market, and they're made right here in good old Tennessee. Check them out, orioncoolers.com. You know, the fishing's been really good in the Tennessee and Kentucky region in the last week. We've been blessed with just some well below average temperatures. The humidity level has actually been really nice. My wife actually went out with me the other day and had to wear a jacket. And I think that's why I'm hearing some better fishing reports. But here's the deal. Throughout the Tennessee and Kentucky region, the fish are getting shallower, which is very common this time of year. It's about oxygen content. And if you can work around current, go when they're pulling current, because that's still the key. But there are some big ones being caught shallow. They're being caught on a bullworm, they're being caught on a jig. I heard a good bag got caught on a topwater bait on Lake Barkley the other day. So that tells me that we're getting closer to the end of summer and fall's right around the corner. The nighttime bite's still really good, Center Hill, Del Hollow, Percy Priest, Lake Cumberland, but the daytime bite's awesome. Lake Barkley's come back on. Chickamauga's really good right now, lots of grass over there, so that's really good when it's hot. But guys, it's fun here and it's pretty comfortable. We'd love to see you. God bless.
Easy, darling. Easy, darling. Swim right in that net. Thank you. Got him. Got him. All right. I got a fish on. That's a good trout. Oh, yeah. Look at this trout. Easy, darling. Easy, darling. Swim right in that net. Thank you. Wow. Look at this. That's a nice trout right there. Calm down, buddy. There's you a good Bay St. Louis trout right there. Look at the reef behind me. This is really something cool. Out here catching them on this artificial reef. And let me get this fish off of here and get him released. Just like that. All right. All right, let me explain something to you. I'm pulled up on the reef. I've got my Motor Guide XI5 trolling motor anchored in position on the down current side, but what I've got is cuts on either side where I've got current coming through. So you can see it's solid concrete here, and then just about 20 yards that way you've got one cut. And then just on the other side of me here, just on the end of that concrete, there's another cut, and that current is ripping through that cut. So what I'm doing is dipping myself up a little croaker, and these are small ones here. These are not big croakers. Using a single Kale hook, hooking him just in front of the tail. No weight, no popping cork, no nothing. And I'm throwing it up in that current, far as I can throw it. Clicking my bailing gear, and then just basically keeping a tight line and feeling that bait as it washes through the current. And a big old trout hit it. That's a nice one right there. Let's get you fishing and lake reports while I figure out what's going to happen next.
This part of the program is brought to you by Visit Jacksonville. Northeast Florida offers great fishing, family-fun beaches, top restaurants and resorts that are easy to get to, and offer outdoor fun for everyone. So come on, visit Jacksonville.
Gulf Coast fishing has been just about as hot as the weather. In Mississippi, my son Eric says that the slot redfish are in great supply. Lots of limits are being caught on the Gulf side of the barrier islands along the coast of Mississippi. You might remember that the spotted sea trout fishing there was outstanding a couple of weeks ago, and while it's still good, it's tapered off just a little bit. Eric says a triple tail of 20 pounds are being caught around the channel markers and buoys, and he says the snapper fishing well offshore is still very good for the fish in the 8 to 15 pound class, and these are around some of the marked state reefs that are way offshore. In Alabama, Captain Charlie Gray out of Dolphin Island says the lower Mobile Bay area and around Dolphin Island close to the Gulf, fishing has been exceptional. And they're catching plenty of fish in the lower bay with live croakers, free-lined on number 2 hooks. Snapper fishing also remains great. These fish are going to 22 pounds. They're using live croakers and live pinfish. In southeast Georgia, Captain Tim Cutting on St. Simon's Island says that cool rain and high winds have kind of bothered the fishing there, inshore fishing for trout, redfish, and flounder. But if you find clear water and you stay with them using a multitude of different baits, you will catch some fish. But on the near-shore reefs like the Gray's Reef, king mackerel and Spanish mackerel fishing has been just terrific. Well, that's it for the southeast coast. Get out on the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
This week's Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Fishing Report is sponsored by Southern Saltwater Fly Fishing Magazine. This destination-oriented e-zine covers the great saltwater action on the South Atlantic and Gulf Coast from Maryland to Panama and the Caribbean islands. Subscriptions are free at www.southernsaltflyfishing.com. We've now settled into a weather pattern that will continue through the dog days of late summer. It's hot, it's humid, there's frequent pop-up thunder showers. These conditions dictate when and where you want to be fishing as well as what species to target. In northeast Mississippi, you might try for some largemouth bass on 300-acre Lake Lamar Bruce. This state fishing lake gives up lots of hot weather bass, and the fishing managers say there's too many of those fish in the lake, so hooking some should be easier. Early and late in the day, you want to target the shallow cover with topwater lures. As the sun gets up, move out offshore to the points in 12 to 15 feet of water and throw Texas rigged plastic worms. These deep water bass are probably going to be the biggest ones. In Georgia, you can beat the heat by going after some wild brown trout in the cold waters of the Chattooga River. The best area is from Burles Ford up to the North Carolina border. Alabama anglers are catching some crappie right now at night under the bridges and under lighted docks on the Coosa River's 30,200 acre Weiss Lake. Live minnows are going to draw most of the bites here.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Got him. Holy cow, look at this trout. This is the biggest one of the day right here. I'm getting a bite. See my rod tip going? See my rod tip going? Got him. Fish on. All right. That's a good trout. That's what that is. Whoa, he took me under the boat. What a strong fish. Golly. I want my rod back. Good trout. Look at that big old trout. Man. All right, we've caught a big one. I've only been to Bay St. Louis one time and caught a lot of trout, but I haven't caught a big one like that one. Look at that. Got my kale hook right in the corner of his mouth, right in the right spot. Let me explain a little bit of something about fishing these reefs. There's definitely, I won't call it a trick, but there are some subtleties to it that can certainly help you catch more fish. There. There's a big old speck for you right there. That's what we came to Bay St. Louis to do. Mississippi, all kinds of good fishing in Mississippi. And that's a big old, that's a gator trout right there. Oh, and away he goes. Ready to go. So the subtleties about fishing these reefs are this. Captain Sonny Schindler is helping us out. He taught me a lot of what I've learned about these reefs. But they've got all that concrete, and the concrete goes underwater and tapers off, and you want to be feeling your way along the edge of the concrete. So what he said basically is, if you're not getting snagged and losing some hooks, then you're not fishing right. The technique is to keep that rod tip up high so that that croaker can't swim his way down in the cracks of those rocks. Keep him up a little high and feel your way along the rocks, and you're going to lose some. But when you bring it across the rock, you feel a little snag, you pull it loose, that's when you get a bite. So that's just a little trick, a little subtlety. Get up close to them, but don't throw right up in the thick stuff. Try to find that outside edge out here in about 8 or 9 feet of water. It's fishing report time from your local area.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas report. This week brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. You know they're located on the Murrells Inlet Marsh Walk and are open 7 days a week. Here we've got breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's always about the food, the view, and the music. Tell you what, saltwater side of things, get out on the water for that eclipse. Plan on it and make sure you've got NASA approved eyewear if you plan on taking a peek up and not looking just down at the water for what's on the line. I'll tell you what, so many things in the saltwater talking about the nearshore reefs, an incredible thing that we have here in the Carolinas. We have state-supported reefs and great places to get out and fish. Right now, the Spanish mackerel, king mackerel, you've got some nice flounder being caught in those deeper reefs that are located through the Carolinas. You can go to your DNR website at your respective state and find exactly where these are. But I tell you, you need to get out with some good live baits, a heavy jig head, fish around that structure, and you're going to catch some of the best flounder you'll catch of the year right now as those fish are staging up for that cold water to start moving offshore. Also on the offshore side of things, I tell you what, the wahoo bite has been incredible. It's early for the fall bite, but I tell you what, there's a lot of bait stacked up on that ledge right now, and if you can get out there, be patient, you're going to spend some time with some barracuda and amberjacks, you're going to catch some nice wahoo this time of the year offshore in the Carolinas. This has been your Carolinas Report, and it's brought to you by the Dead Dog Saloon. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Fish on. Okay, we're hooked up again out here on the reef, and the current is really ripping out here, and I will tell you that the tide plays a huge factor. And the big deal about the tide is you just want it moving. You don't want it slack. Big trout. Got him. Holy cow, look at this trout. This is the biggest one of the day right here. And that's on my last croaker of the day. That was the last croaker I had in that live well. And I put it on there, and isn't that something how that works out? Biggest trout of the day hits it. Look at the size of that bad boy. Yeah. Doesn't have any spots on him. That's kind of a strange looking trout right there. Usually they got a bunch of spots on him, but that one doesn't. Man, that's a gator right there. That's a big one. We're gonna turn him back. Whoa, man. He was gone in a hurry. Holy cow. All right, I want to mention a couple of things here before we get to the last segment. First of all, we caught several species of fish here. We did catch a redfish. I want to show you just a quick shot of that, but wasn't a big one or anything, but just to show you that you can catch reds here. We caught a big black drum earlier. Lots and lots of trout. Just had a great morning on the reef. If you're coming here, two things. First of all, you've got to stay at Baytown Inn. It is the premier spot just off the beach. My great friend Nikki Moon runs that place, and she does it with a white glove. She is unbelievable, immaculate conditions, great rooms, kitchens, great continental breakfast, super pool right outside, all the wonderful restaurants up and down the main row, all the shops on Main Street, everything is in one location within walking distance of Baytown Inn. Contact them at the information on your screen, and if you want to book a guide trip, contact my good friend Sonny Schindler with Sure Thing Charters. He'll bring you out, catch some fish off these reefs, take you in the marsh, catch redfish, take you out on Cat Island for the Cat Island experience. Look that up on his website. You can see what that is. There's his contact information all on the screen there. What a great place Bay St. Louis is. It's growing on me. It's one of my favorite coastal destinations.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday night at 6, or catch the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional insiders. This week's question comes from Rob, who asks, when does color matter the most when choosing a crappie rig? For the answer, we checked with crappie expert Wally Marshall.
You know, the other day I was out fishing, and you know, the crappie were just barely pulling at the bait, just barely pulling at it, and I was like missing them. And I said, man, it must be the color. I had on a pink and chartreuse. I was in dingy water, but I went back to my old time favorite, the blue and white, and it was an overcast day. As soon as I stuck that blue and white in there, I'm talking about bam, they were just hitting it a lot harder. So the next time you're out on the lake and you're not getting bit real hard, change your color and you'll have more success catching lots of crappie.
Thank you, Wally. If you have something to ask one of our insiders, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now it's time to give away a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
We are back at the harbor at Bay St. Louis, and it's time right now to announce this week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. He is Jeremy Jones of Cedartown, Georgia, with a 10-pound largemouth bass he caught out of Lake Guntersville, Alabama. If you'd like a chance to be our next winner, send us your big fish photo by going to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com and clicking on the Costa Catch of the Week box on the right side of the homepage. Follow the instructions there to send in your photo. And if you'd like to see all of the Costa frame and lens styles, just go back to the front page of our website and click on the Costa logo. It's there you'll see all of the 580 polycarbonate and glass lenses and all the different colors, all the frame styles and colors that Costa has to offer, including the one I really like and I wore on this week's show. This one is called Prop. As far as the gear we used out there to catch those big trout, I had the perfect setup. This is the Loose TP1 Speed Stick Inshore Rod Series. It's a 7-foot medium action rod built to catch redfish and speckled trout, flounder, all the inshore species, and I had it paired with the Lew's Mach 1 Speed Spool spinning reel. This is a matched setup that you couldn't ask for anything more. I had it spooled up with 10-pound fluorocarbon line to throw up on these reefs. As far as the hook and the weight, it couldn't be any simpler. That's a Kale hook used to catch speckled trout up and down all the coastlines. About 6 inches up the line is a small split shot. We used small live croakers and big live shrimp. You can see the size there in relation to my hand. That's the size that we used to catch all these big trout and a few reds and black drum as well. Stuff that matters this week comes in the form of a travel tip. If you get anywhere in this part of the Mississippi coastline, you've got to go about 5 minutes from here where we are at Bay St. Louis to the little town of Waveland, Mississippi. That was the epicenter of Hurricane Katrina. Most folks think it was New Orleans, but Waveland took the biggest brunt with a storm surge of over 30 feet, wind gust over 190 miles an hour. It leveled the entire town. There was one building left standing, the old school building. They rebuilt it into a fantastic museum, the Ground Zero Museum. My wife and I got a chance to tour it yesterday. You've got to check this out. It is a tribute, not what to Hurricane Katrina tore down, but to the resiliency and the human spirit of the folks that live in this area that built it back. Thanks for joining us from beautiful Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.